The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Napick and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Napick.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Thank you for joining us. Yes, the world has changed since our last show, but we are glad that you're here with us. We're going to get some insight, as always, from real estate professionals, even a home organizer, and also a business coach of sorts. So we're going to start the show right now. Again, a lot has changed. We're glad you're with us. We will all be enlightened. That's our goal by the time this show is over. First, we welcome Astrid West. She is with CB&A. Astrid, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
It is awesome. CB&A. First of all, Astrid, let's tell people about your company.
Sure. CB&A is an awesome brokerage. We have 3 locations. Our main office is located in Northwest Houston. We also have a Woodlands location, and we just recently opened up a Katy office. So rocking and rolling and growing for sure.
It is great. Let's tell people, as far as company distinction, certainly there are so many companies out there and many real estate professionals here in Houston. Give us an idea of some of the things that are company distinctions, and then we'll talk about some of the things that you do.
Sure. So CB&A is a brokerage that was started by Chance Brown. He actually was the Realtor of the Year for 2017.
I was going to say that. In fact, I got to interview him on this show as he became Realtor of the Year. He's great.
Yes, he's awesome. Very innovative, very young, very forward-thinking, has a culture of customer service at its highest form and having fun at the same time. So I think that's definitely something that makes them different than most traditional brokerages.
And he's probably listening to the show right now.
I hope so.
No doubt. Well, first of all, let's tell people a little bit how things have changed. This virus event is upon us and changing our life in many ways.
Sure.
From the real estate perspective, we've seen things change overnight. What are you seeing right now? Let's say this past weekend and that.
Sure. So what we're seeing locally is business as usual, to be honest. Open houses continue to happen. We had many guests come into our open houses. Houses are still selling. I think in that perspective, things are moving along. Now, are people deciding to maybe wait a little bit before listing? I think we'll see a little bit of a lull as we let this virus pass through. But otherwise, because of interest rates being so low, there's a lot of refinancing happening, a lot of appraisals happening. So folks that do have their homes under contract, there may be a little bit more of addition of time regarding the closings, just because the companies are trying to accommodate all of these refinances. But otherwise, for us, what we're seeing is business as usual.
So as of right this moment, things are still rocking along
Yes.
as they began in this year. Well, it will be interesting. There may be some changes along the way, and maybe more so adjustments. And especially as the stock market is just so volatile and has crashed, I think people, at least right this moment, I think real estate countrywide is still one of those bright spots, those bright lights that are still out there, at least right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I do think that we may see a little bit of a shortage in inventory, again, as people are kind of waiting to see how this plays out, and with their employment, there might be insecurities there. But honestly, my personal opinion is that as we hang tight and get through the next maybe 2 weeks to 30 days, I think things will even out and we'll be back on course in no time at all.
And with any event, positive or negative, it's always a time to learn, and there's always a time for opportunities, and especially in the service business, to be able to adjust those opportunities and even service levels, and maybe in different ways. You have a particular nuance in the real estate world. Let's tell people the market that you focus on a little bit.
Yes, I'd love to. I am what's called a senior real estate specialist. It's a designation that not too many realtors have. So as you have folks in the real estate business who decide to focus maybe on the luxury market or be experts in farm and ranch, there is a designation that assists senior citizens. And that is the bulk of my business. Probably 90% of my business in 2019 was servicing seniors who were selling their homes and moving into a more senior supported community. I absolutely love what I do. I love this segment of the population who, for me, I get a little bit of a very protective feeling. So many of our seniors don't have family locally that can help guide them through this process. So absolutely love serving them and taking care of their needs as they go through this last transaction.
And I will tell people they can't see you if they're driving in their car listening on the show, but you seem very young. So
Well,
you definitely are not a senior, let's say. And I don't even know when is a senior defined? I forget. Is it? I know at McDonald's, if you get the senior coffee, that's one age, but I guess there's different.
Sure. I think the
thresholds.
actual is 62 years of age, 65. I will say that I'm quite older than I appear. I'm 55. I just helped my own parents downsize back in December, just a couple of months ago. Yes, most of my clients are in their late 70s, early 80s. Again, this is a time when it's maybe not the safest for them to be at home anymore, and they need some extra support and help. And so we try to do everything to help them stay at home. But when that home ownership becomes too much of a burden and they need to sell, that's when I step in and help them through.
Give us a few ideas of things that you may do differently in serving seniors.
Sure. So we are very much in the digital age, and our seniors, many of them, while a lot of them are very proficient using a computer or an iPad, signing documents online is a challenge sometimes. So I am very old school and will drive to their home, to their senior community, wherever they are, to speak to them in person, to explain documents in person, and get their signature in person. That's what's a little bit different with me. There is a lot of hand-holding, I guess you could say. I am there with them, reassuring them that everything is going to be fine. I think people would recognize and understand that selling and moving is a challenge at any age.
At any age, it's a big deal.
And it's a particularly challenging for our senior population. There's a lot of memories in a home, a lifetime worth of stuff to declutter and figure out what you're going to do with this china that you've been saving for your kids. And those are conversations that I have with them. Very non-judgmental, very patient and understanding, but letting them know that it's going to be okay, and that this new season that they're about to enter into really should be looked at with a lot of optimism and hope. And just because they're moving from their home into a senior community, it's awesome. There's so much that these communities offer. So I think they're in for a great change.
I think that's one of the main tools any real estate professional needs to have, and that's patience. Because and the other thing is that whether you are a senior, 30, or whatever, a lot of people haven't purchased a home in the last 7 years. So things have changed anyway. But just from the standpoint of if someone's older and been in the home 20 or so years, things have really changed. So they really need that extra level of care with you.
Absolutely. They don't understand how important it is that their home is now going to be professionally photographed. I think it's just a matter of educating them because they have not been through the process in typically decades. And so I'm just there to, again, educate them, explain to them the importance of making a great first impression and getting the home sold as quickly as possible for top dollar.
And Astrid, what part of town do you focus on? Do you do it by geography or?
So again, my name's Astrid, and it's a unique name and it's a unique service
They
what I
can't forget
offer.
you.
So a lot of realtors will farm, quote unquote farm, a geographic area, but I serve a demographic. So I serve the whole city. Wherever the senior is, that's where I go. Most of my clients, however, I will say have been northwest part of Houston, That's where I live and work and play. So that's obviously the area I'm most familiar with. But Spring, Conroe, Magnolia, Kingwood, all of those areas I've had clients in and have been happy to serve. If it is outside of that area, I do have colleagues who work the other sides of the city who I'm happy to refer that business to, who also, again, have the senior real estate designation. So there's always someone close by that can help them.
And before we close this segment, would you like to tell people anything else about what you're doing?
No, if they'd like more information, really, they can look at my website at astridwest.com. That's ASTRIDWEST.com. You can see reviews from past clients there, get more information, schedule even an appointment with me right online.
Astrid West. And the phone number, Astrid, is?
They may reach me at 832-777-3481.
And we want to thank Becky Bohannon at Stewart Title for bringing you here today in our Tomball office. She's super awesome.
She is. She's got a great staff, and I absolutely love working with them.
Astrid, let's tell people once again your number is?
832-777-3481.
Thank you so much. We're going to come right back with even more after this. Thank you, Astrid.
Thank you.
In today's litigious society, it is imperative to have the proper insurance to offset the many risks facing your business, especially if you're a real estate broker. Your errors and omissions and cyber liability insurance can help limit the threat of these risks if you know what to look for. Not sure if your insurance addresses the risks facing your business? Contact Stewart Insurance to be confident your brokerage can withstand these risks. Stewart Insurance, 866-798-2827. StewartInsurance.com. That's StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Welcome back. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Thank you for joining us. And now we continue. We're going to get a feel for what's going on here in another area of the market. He is Tim Soika, a return visitor. His company is called, guess what? Tim Sell. Tim, welcome to the show.
It's a pleasure to be back. Pleasure to be back. Blessed to be here today.
Indeed, we all are. And your name right there, Tim Sell. First of all, people can't forget that. That's part of the idea, right?
Right. Well, where Tim Sell came from is my last name. Soika is so hard to pronounce. It's just terrible. And when we were naming the company, my daughter was about 5 or 6 years old. She came home with a cartoon picture of me drawn, and I couldn't see the value of putting my face really on the business card like a lot of realtors do. So we actually used this cartoon image that my daughter created. We updated it some. We went to a graphic artist. And I called my father-in-law and I said, we're thinking about using this cartoon image. And he goes, that's the worst idea I've ever heard. And if your father-in-law hates it,
it's good.
You kind of got to roll with it. And then where Tim Sell came from is when you're a kid, you may remember See Dick Run, Run Dick Run. So when we created this kind of fun cartoonish brand with Tim Sell, people thought we had been around forever when we were really brand new. So from the beginning, people just assumed we had been doing this forever. And now we sold 3,000 houses because it's Tim Sell, not Tim Sit Around. So
that's a good idea.
You're not outstanding if you're not outselling.
That's a great point. And the other thing is people in Houston may or may not know there are how many in HAR? How many realtors are there?
There's 40,000.
So there's 40,000. Not all are active, but still, that's a lot of real estate professionals, and it's looking for ways to stand out is so important.
Yes, sir. And I think we put a lot of emphasis on branding ourselves and letting people know we're different. Google's one of the most powerful things out there, and we focus on getting really positive reviews. If you just worry about taking care of your clients and really delivering for them, you're going to get more business. And Google reviews right now are one of the most positive ways we're getting business. We've got a lot of 5-star Google reviews. That's important to people, and the branding's great to pull people in, but if you give people a bad experience once they get there,
not good.
Not good. It's all about, if you worry about taking care of people, you make a lot of money. If you worry about making money, you don't make any.
Let's tell people you're focused on your office is in Katy.
Yes, sir.
So I would think you're focused there, but let's tell people the area that you and how you approach the real estate world, and also what's going on with this virus event that we're in the midst of. What are you seeing there?
Well, first of all, I think everything west of Highway 6 is what we focus on. Katy, a lot. We do a lot in Cypress, Tomball, down to Sugar Land. We've kind of made ourselves an expert on the school districts because people buy for the schools. Katy School District's the best marketed school district I've ever seen. The Lamar School District's come a long way. They're doing some great things there. Fort Bend School District is really great in the arts. Each school district has something special about it, and learning those school districts are really important to build your business. So we're focusing on basically the west side of town, and it's been a real blessing to us. On what's going on with the virus, it's really interesting. I think it's too early to tell the long-term ramifications, but it feels like the government is doing some great things to really keep the economy going, and I'm really excited about that. I will say this country's been through several presidents, several challenges, and I'm not worried about who the president is. I'm worried about how great this country is. And this country has been through some rough things. At CTEMCEL, we've been through 2 hurricanes that basically shut down the economy. We've been through the swine flu. We've been through the rush of realtors into the market, and we've survived them all. And the reason we have is if you're client based and you stay on top of things, it's important. Real estate agents, a lot of us used to be leaders in the past. What I mean, we've led companies. We were leaders in school because of our personalities, and we're outgoing. We've been in leadership positions before. And I think it's tantamount to us to step up and lead through this, keep people informed, let people know what's going on, but also be prepared. My wife and I have done a lot of research into the coronavirus, finding out what we can do to protect people as much as possible. That's really important.
That's very interesting. And as you say, we don't know all the ramifications because things are changing every day. When we go to sleep, there's something brand new that's massive that just happened overnight. So who can tell? We need to stay nimble, be prepared, and be ready.
I think the most important thing to remember is everybody thinks because of Hurricane Harvey, we had a terrible real estate year just 2 years ago. Hurricane Harvey, and I am so sorry for all the people who lost their homes. I'm not being insensitive. But Hurricane Harvey was one of the best real estate years we've ever seen because the market was basically shut down for a month, and it created a lot of energy when the market came back out. A lot of people bought new homes. A lot of people bought investment homes. It was a great year for the real estate market. And what I'm saying is this economy in our area is doing so well. The coronavirus may pin up some demand, but it's going to be there. That demand is still going to be there. So I think short term, could there be some challenges? Yes. But I think the people that are most prepared for it, I think homes are going to sell because I think interest rates are going to be lower. I think this market is going to have a lot of pin-up vitality that we're just going to see blow up very soon because people can't sit at home and watch Netflix forever, although Netflix would love that.
They would. And they have a lot of content, by the way. So real estate is a bright spot right now.
It is.
In the world. In fact, those that are in good shape financially and weathering stock market storms and all that, it may be a time for them to switch some of their money to real estate and have more investors in the market. Would you think that would happen?
Real estate's always been really interesting. I spoke to a stockbroker, and he said, there's nothing I can give you, there's nothing I can tell you that will do better than you buying a house where you're getting 1% on it a month. There's nothing I can do better for you than that. Houses are really interesting. When you buy a stock, it sits there. But when you buy a house that's an investment property or a building, we're doing a lot of commercial buildings now. When you buy a commercial building that's an investment property, it's going up in value while someone else is paying it off for you. There's nothing else that can do that for you. So I do think in times of crisis, a lot of people are going to turn to real estate, but especially if interest rates, from what we're hearing, interest rates are going to be lower. I can't promise that yet, but it feels like that's coming. If interest rates are lower, it would be really good to start buying things that other people are paying off for you. Investment property is beautiful for that.
Katy, Texas. You are a resident of Katy, Texas. You've been practicing real estate for there. Let's tell people, if they were considering one area of town versus another, tell us the attributes of Katy. I live almost in Katy, but not quite.
Katy has one of the best school districts I've ever seen, but it has the best marketed school district I've ever seen. It's a school district that people want to be in. We've got great athletics there. We have, of course, great education there. I tell people the best thing about Katy is our school district. It drives people to us. But we also have the energy corridor right there. We have a lot of hospitals right there. There's almost not a chain that you can't get in Katy now. And let's be honest, Houston is expanding west. What's west of Houston? Katy. Katy's only going to benefit from that. A lot of people say, well, things are moving out to Brookshire and Fulshire and everything now. Well, they have to drive through Katy to get there. Katy businesses are going to benefit. The Katy School District is going to benefit. Katy's in a probably the best position of any city I know of for long-term success.
From a high-tech standpoint, the technical things that you use, what do you use to help buyers and sellers out there that they should know about?
Our website's amazing to help track down property quickly. CTIMSell is ctimsell.com is absolutely amazing to get to find your way around. So websites are fantastic. But the one thing I would say is this is probably the most interesting time we've ever seen in video and video technology. Aerial tours. We have a lot of people that are going to buy homes that have never been in them. They've seen them just via virtual tours. That was happening 10 or 15 years ago. It's going to be interesting with the coronavirus. There might be dozens of people now that we work with that buy homes that have only seen it virtually. And we're getting really prepared for that. We're getting, if clients want to see a home but can't see it, we'll walk them through it with our iPhone. It's amazing the technology the average person has in their hand right now. So we can do listing appointments now virtually. That's not something people were doing 10 or 15 years ago. So I think a lot of the technology, the coronavirus is going to push us all to get better at technology. But the one thing I think you'll find is it's just speeding up things that are coming anyway. Like I said, we sold homes because of virtual tours before. I think you're going to see more of that.
And Tim, with the last minute, what else would you like people to know?
I think more than anything that I'm not a doctor and I'm not a medical professional.
Neither am I.
Do your research. Find out everything you can about the coronavirus. Everything you can. Your job is to be responsible for your family, as my job is to be responsible for my family. However, in times of challenge, there's no better time, a lot of times, to make investments. If interest rates really do go where I think they're going to, there's going to be no better time to make a move than right now.
The website is CTIMSell, and let's tell them the phone number.
713-822-2152. You can get me personally, or 877-313-SELL. 877-313-SELL will get you to us. Thank you so much.
713-822-2152. Tim Soika, CTIMSell. We thank Rochelle Sula, our Business Development Officer in Katy, and Super A-plus Escrow Officer Diane Homolka. Thank you so much.
She's the best.
She is the best. Thank you, Tim. Here we go. The show continues. And now this is a very important topic at any time. And we're going to talk about how it weaves into this virus event, the coronavirus. However, the company is called All Organized. She is Elizabeth Strauss. Elizabeth, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me today.
We should be organized all the time, right?
I agree. It makes life a lot easier.
And you're there to help people.
We are, yes.
Well, let's tell people the menu of services. I would say almost everybody, I bet 90% people need a little bit extra help. There's that 10% that may have it down, but the 90% that don't, how can you help people? What are your services that you offer?
We offer a lot of really neat services. So we do offer the traditional organizing where we will come in, help you with any areas where I call kind of the sticky wicket in your home. If it's your closet, your pantry, your garage, your kids' playroom, we're finding that so many people now work outside of the home. We've kind of lost a lot of the traditional stay-at-home moms. And so when you're working 40 hours a week and you have to come home and take care of your kids at the end of a long day, it's exhausting to think about taking care of your house too. So we like to think of ourselves as an extension of you helping just put your house back in order.
So you can help people if they need help in one room. We could say, Elizabeth, or my garage.
Correct. Yes.
Elizabeth, come over. We need you to help with the garage, and you have a plan for that.
Yes. Yeah.
Or the whole house.
Yes, correct. One room or attic to garage, as we say.
How do you approach it? Let's just kind of keep it simple. And someone said, I just want you to take care of the living room and the kitchen. How do you approach the job of organizing, say, those rooms?
I like to really think of organizing as a very careful inventory of the items in your home. We're not here to make you get rid of anything. We're here to advocate for you while you're going through this organizing process. So what we do is we look at each item individually. Where does it need to live in the home? Do you even need to find a place for this item to live? A lot of times when I'm asking the really tough questions about, when is the last time you used this? I'm the neutral third party, making sure that things are going to where they need to go in a way that's really going to serve you. Because what makes sense for me organizing might not make sense in your life. So we're really looking at you in the process of how you live and work and function in your home.
I haven't used it in a while, but I might need it someday. Have you ever heard that?
I do hear that a lot. I do. And then we talk about those items that are just in case versus just for when. So if you're hanging on to this item just in case you might need it one day, that's very different for the just in case versus
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Just in case I might need it. So how much is decluttering a part of what you do?
100%.
There you go. And quite frankly, think about this. We have been advertised, all of us here, in most generations since we were babies. So we end up having too much stuff.
And things like Amazon and other same day or next day delivery services or just online shopping is really something that's adding to the volume of items in our home, because we don't even have to go out and seek these items anymore. We can sit right on our couch while we're watching Netflix and literally slide a button to, buy now off of Amazon, and it comes into our home. We don't even have to get in our car, load it in the truck, and then take it in and unload it. It comes right to the front door.
In fact, as I walk around the neighborhood at times, I see piles of Amazon boxes, and especially on trash day, you see these Amazon boxes.
And the really interesting thing is a lot of people, we actually help open the packages because they've ordered the items because it's more of a shopping problem. And they're not addressing what the real problem is. And we're having to help them open the volume of boxes that they've had come into their home.
Sounds like part of your job as psychologist. But
it's a little bit.
Now, you mentioned at the front end, a lot of people, when they leave and they go to the work site, now with this virus event that's here, a lot of people are going to be staying home. Yes, they'll be working from home, but I'm going to presume they might have some extra time as they're home to be looking around and saying, man, it's kind of a mess in here. So I would think it's also an opportunity. With a crisis, there's opportunity. They could use your services.
What we're going to start offering if we really do go into a quarantine or lockdown type thing, and I know that people are nervous having vendors in their home at this time, is almost like a virtual organizing where we can FaceTime you or get on a service like Zoom and look into your home and kind of clutter coach you through really tough areas.
Let's say that term again. I like that.
Clutter coach. Well, because professional organizer, so many people are like, well, I'm scared to get judged. And we've always built ourselves as a very non-judgmental company. I don't live in your home. That's not where I take off my shoes. That's not where I lay my head down to go to sleep every night. Your home is your home. I want you to be comfortable in it no matter what it looks like. So clutter coach seems so much less judgmental than professional organizer.
I think that's a great term. In fact, I'm picturing people holding up items in their computer saying, Elizabeth, what about this one? And then you're asking, well, when did you use it last? And another point is a lot of things, especially when we get into technology and electronic items, some of them are just outdated. It's time to just...
Technology expires very quickly. And the great thing is there are a lot of local and free resources on how to get rid of that expired technology.
Prior to this profession, what were you doing?
I was a corporate accountant at Chevron Phillips.
And what was it where you decided to be helping people organize? Because some people don't do it because they're like, I don't even want to think about doing it, but yet you take the role on for them.
I've been making my friends clean up their closet since I was 8 years old. I just thought that's how everybody had a really fun time. So I would go over to my friend's house and we would pick up their closets and their bedrooms, and I would have a great time. And apparently that was not so much fun for my friends, as I learned later in life. So I was in the corporate world. I was not happy there anymore. I was working 9 hours a day in a very gray cubicle, doing 10-key data entry, paying freight invoices, billing people for dimethyl disulfide and polyalpha olefins and normal alpha olefins. And it was not feeding my soul as a person. I just felt every day like I was having to walk myself into prison. And I sat down one day and I started looking for other jobs, and I couldn't even bring myself to fill out the applications online. It was just, I didn't have the stomach. I would look at the job description and go, I can't do it. So I sat down one night and I thought, if I won the lottery tomorrow and money were no longer an object to me and I could travel everywhere I ever wanted to go and buy everything I ever wanted to buy, what would I do with the remaining hours of my life to fulfill it, to give me some kind of purpose on this earth? And it always came down to professional organizing. I love helping people one-to-one. I love seeing the end result after a space is cleaned up. And I love diversity in my day. I love getting to drive into Houston to do a radio interview and like today. And I love getting to go put on my work boots afterwards and go help on a garage job install.
Well, you just gave the recipe for someone to find what their vocation should be, finding out what they like. That logical step. I hope people repeat this segment so that they can hear it, because therein lies. That's the key to success. Find out what you like, and you found it. The other thing that I thought about is that in Marie Kondo's story, right? What's the name of her book?
Spark Joy.
Well, that's one of
Tidy Up.
The Joy Tidying Up or something like it. But anyway, that was one of her things that she did when she was a little girl. She would go to her sister's room, and once she got her room organized, she was looking around for opportunities. So there must be something. You found your place, and you're having fun.
I am. I'm having the best time. We've grown from a team of one. I was a solopreneur back in 2017 when I kicked this off, and now we have a team of 20 that I'm so proud of. We've incorporated senior moves into our business where we help seniors go through the downsizing process, and it grew our business last year 324%.
Holy smokes. Now, do you focus on a certain area of town, or are you all over Houston?
We are very lucky. We got a contract with a senior, an owner of many senior communities, and we are now their preferred senior move manager. So we help over 20 senior communities in the greater Houston area.
And I would think there's great before and after pictures.
Yes.
And every job,
yes,
correct me if I'm wrong, is different. So when you go to the next job and the next job, you're like, oh, I didn't see that before. So you probably see some very interesting things.
We do. And that's what I love about every day is very different. We can be doing a senior move on a Monday, a garage install on a Tuesday, a playroom clean out on a Wednesday, another senior move on a Thursday. There is no day that looks like it did the day before.
And what do people do, should they do to maintain the space once you fix it up for them or help them fix it?
I call it take 10. Take 10 minutes a day and reset the room to how it was. It really, once you've done the big organizing job, you've cleared out the room, take 10 minutes and put things back, but also look very carefully at what left your home. That's the big point to me. Look very carefully at what left your home so that as you go forward as a consumer and you're making new purchases, evaluate very carefully what's worthy of being brought back in. As in
learn from our experiences and learn what to do the next time. Before we close this segment, What else would you like people to know, Elizabeth?
What I always, when I go around and I do my talks at senior communities, and my parting thought for everybody is that things are just things. They don't make us who we are. We don't get to take any of it with us when we go, and they don't define our status as human beings. So
we're talking with Elizabeth Strauss. The company is all organized. If someone wants to reach out to you, Elizabeth, what should they do?
Give us a call or a text, because we know sometimes not everybody loves the phone, at 281-460-6534. Or visit our website if you'd like us to reach out to you. It's allorganizedpro, P-R-O, like professionalorganizer.com.
281-460-6534. Thank you, Elizabeth, for being on the show. We'll continue right after this. The show continues. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Nampick. And now we're going to talk to James Cooney. He is the master chair of a company called Vistage. James, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's tell people, Jim, Vistage. The company is Vistage. Let's tell people what you do.
Vistage is a 60-year-old organization, and we basically form peer groups or mastermind groups. And once we have formed one of these mastermind peer groups, then we actually run that monthly meeting. We have 3 different models of a peer group. One is a group for presidents, CEOs, people that have P&L, profit and loss responsibility. Another group is for key executives, and these are the individuals who would report directly to a president or a CEO. And the last group is one which we call the Trusted Advisor Group, which is made up of people who provide professional services. Could be a realtor, it could be a banker, lawyer, accountant, and that group would be the Trusted Advisor Group. Right now, we have about 1,500 of these peer groups throughout the United States. And in Houston, we have about 35 peer groups, numbering about 300 members in these peer groups.
So let's define the idea of the peer group again. So that means that it's a group of people that are part of your company or people that are using your services.
These are people who are using our services, and the idea is that you form a group of anywhere from 10 to 14 people who basically have as a peer, they are an equal, so that they are focused on the business world from the same level. And out of these 10 to 14 people, we can't have anyone that is a competitor with one another. We can't have anyone that has a significant business or personal relationship with one another. What we're looking for is to create a safe environment where individuals can come and talk about anything in a candid, confidential, candid way, whether it be business, personal, or health, to draw on the expertise, experience, and insight from fellow members of the group.
So give us an idea of some of the things that might be discussed or that you're all helping each other with.
Well, I mean, apropos of the current circumstances, what should we do relative to remote employees? How should we handle it? We've never done it before. Well, if you are in a peer group, there may be individuals whose business has remote employees, so that they will start and develop some policies and procedures to address remote employees. Or it could be a problem. I'm having a difficult time with one of my employees. How should I handle it? It's a good employee, but they seem to be off the rails. And so discussing this in a careful, confidential way, you're able to get some good insight and hopefully make your decision of what to do a little bit better than you would have had you not gotten this input.
It seems like a lot of leadership concepts and things to implement are part of this as well.
Absolutely. I mean, if you are the leader, people in your organization look toward you to say, where are we going? How are we going to get there? And they certainly want to have confidence in that leader. And that leader needs to show that they care and have concern for their employees. To be able to improve their leadership skill is one of the outcomes of being part of this peer mastermind group.
And before the segment, we talked a little bit about your background briefly, and one of the things you were with the United States Marine Corps, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Just being in the Marines has to be awesome, and you have to have be the right kind of person, and that is just incredible. My hat's off to you. Give us an idea of what you learned in the service, especially the Marine Corps, and you've taken that into your business world.
Well, thank you for those words. Yes, I was in the Marine Corps during the Vietnam era, and I was a platoon commander of an infantry platoon. And certainly from the Marine Corps, I mean, you learn leadership. You learn to take care of your men. You learn to understand where we're going. What's the mission? What are we trying to accomplish? And you always focus on that, and you lead by example. And one of the old sayings in the Marine Corps is that the officers always eat last. And so you're looking after the men first and foremost.
So let's tell people some of the things. Well, you had another thing in your background. We have to throw that in. That is too awesome. Not many people get to work in the White House on a daily basis. Please share that.
Yes, for 2 years while I was stationed in Washington, D.C., I was a White House social aide that I was working in the White House to help various activities that were going on, bill signings or state dinners, and also one of my responsibilities was to be the officer in charge of the color guard. So I would be there at the White House to bring the color guard down for these various state dinners and functions, and it was pretty heady stuff, I must admit, for a 23-year-old.
Oh, you're 23.
23-year-old.
Oh, wow.
So
that would be heady stuff for anybody, Jim. In fact, you actually had contact with the president at that time, and who was that?
That was President Johnson. It was a very colorful person. He was a person who knew what he wanted. He had a great vision for the country. And he wanted things to be done yesterday, not tomorrow. And so he put a lot of pressure on his cabinet secretaries to get things done. And he was quite colorful.
LBJ, as they say. So at Vistage, give us a feel for how the marketplace is in your business. So people would reach out to you if they want to form these peer groups and get the benefit of all these heads put together for a joint effort.
That's right. If they are interested in Vistage, they can go to vistage.com to see what Vistage is all about. If they're interested in a particular peer group, they can contact me, james.cooney@vistagechair.com, and I'd be happy to talk to them about what its commitments are and what happens at one of these monthly meetings.
And let's tell people some of the things as far as trends that you see in the various industries. Is there any one industry that you serve more than others, or what are you seeing as you get to work with all these professionals?
No, we have a great variety of different industries. Clearly, before the COVID-19, I mean, the big difficulty was for all of my members was to get talent. There's a tight job market, and good people are hard to pry away from a company, and so that was one of the key problems that most of my CEO members were facing. Right now, with the current circumstances, it's how do we try to stay in business and perform what we need to do remotely or with a reduced staff. And so there is some challenges that people are facing right now that are clearly unique.
Certainly in the business world, things change every day. I don't think we've seen them change like this where they really are massive things every day, but that's what we're seeing these past few weeks. Some of the other things as far as other than helping even real estate professionals, what are some of the other industries that you get to work with?
Well, a whole variety. I mean, in terms of our trusted advisor group, we will have, for instance, a banker, a lawyer, an accountant, a financial planner, a commercial broker, a property and casualty person, and an outsourced HR. All of these people have different perspectives.
As we look ahead, vistage.com, people can go to the website, and certainly right here in Houston, your company is very active here, but also we'll tell people you're around the United States as well.
Right. We have groups in every city in the United States, and here in Houston, there are 13 other people like myself who are a Vistage chair. So there's plenty of opportunity for people who want to get into a Vistage group here in Houston.
And what else would you like people to know before we close out this segment about your company and about what you're doing here in Houston?
Well, I think people who really want to be successful and grow in their business, and one of the key things that determine that is how good their decisions are. And long ago, someone said 2 heads are better than 1 when making a big financial, impactful decision. You can just imagine how much better 12 heads are than 2. So I would really encourage people to look into joining a peer group or certainly a Vistage peer group.
And if they want to reach out to you, Jim, what should they do?
Contact me, email james.cooney@vistagechair.com or go to our website, vistage.com.
Vistage.com. And a phone number?
713-305-0689.
713-305-0689. Once again, thank you for your service in the United States and even at the White House. We're going to come right back with even more Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I'm your host, Bill Nampick. Stay with us, please. It is the time of the show to tell you that Real Estate Matters would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance, with a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers. Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risk facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risk. And yes, today, once again, he's here, John Bramlett from Stewart Insurance. John, welcome.
Howdy, Bill. Nice to see you.
Here we are, and I'm going to guess you're going to continue the series, your insurance series. So
yes, we are. So we've previous shows we've talked about professional liability or errors and omissions. We've talked about cyber liability. We talked about general liability, and today we're going to talk about BOP.
BOP.
BOP, business owner's policy. So a BOP, or business owner's policy, is an umbrella policy that, depending upon some specific circumstances, could save a broker small business money on their general liability and their commercial property insurance. So it's a combination of those two.
So you're combining the function of those two, and right off the bat, business owners would be interested in this. What type of business owners in terms of size, or what are the parameters?
Sure. So let's talk a little bit about what BOP is, and then we'll take a look at the parameters. So what a business owner's policy does is protect real estate professionals from third-party liabilities and property damage by combining the general liability insurance and the property insurance. So there are three areas that they kind of look at, and we can get into those in detail here in a second. So lawsuits over customer injuries and property damage, advertising injury and property damage, and then damage to business property. But as you said earlier, there are some criteria that we look at for a company to make sure that they're eligible for that. So generally speaking, if you have fewer than 100 employees, you have a small office or workspace, and most brokers, they don't have a huge office space, so small office space or workspace. They make less than $1 million in annual revenue, and for our real estate brokers, they would be looking at the commissionable revenue, not the dollar amount of sales from their home, of the home sales. What they would be looking at would be the gross commissionable revenue. They operate in a low-risk industry, and they need less than 12 months of business interruption insurance. And generally speaking, a broker will meet all that criteria.
Well, that encompasses a lot of businesses, what you've just laid out there.
Absolutely. So it's a nice plan for a small business, and it is potentially a way for them to save some money by having that umbrella policy, combining the two together.
BOP. Let's tell people what that is again. Business
Owner's Policy. And there are three main areas that coverage, the risk that it can mitigate or offset. So you can have lawsuits over a customer injury or property damage. So let's say you have a customer in your office and they trip and fall and they're hurt. So you've got some coverage there. Or you're staging a home for an open house and you break a expensive vase. You've got some coverage there. Then we talk about advertising injuries and copyright infringement. So this is the general liability element of the business owner's policy. And this covers a cost of a lawsuit. So let's say you make a claim about a competitor on social media that they find false, or they feel like they would hurt their business. So you could have some coverage there if they sued.
And the key word there, if they feel like maybe you didn't, but they might perceive that you did, thus here comes a lawsuit.
Here comes a lawsuit. And even if you are completely innocent and you haven't done anything wrong, you still have the expense of having the defense costs. So that's why a general liability or in this case a BOP policy, a business owner's policy, makes sense. If they felt like that there was some sort of a copyright infringement, we talked about this in one of the last shows of you found a photograph that you thought would be great in marketing a piece of property, and you don't have the right to use that photograph. There could be a copyright infringement.
You may hear from someone that says, that's my photo out, and we know the social media, Facebook, it reaches the world.
Absolutely. So somebody said, hey, that's my photograph. You didn't have the right to use it, so now I'm going to charge you, and maybe charge you more than what they would have if you'd had permission. So that's part of what the coverage comes into play.
And I'm going to add that, just like in property management, if you said, but I didn't know, that's not a defense.
Yeah. Yes, and I remember business law back in the day, ignorance of the law is not a defense.
Exactly.
And then any kind of written or spoken defamation would be the coverage here. So that's where that advertising injury or copyright infringement. The last area is a damage to business property. So it would cover and protect your office, your furnishings, any of the equipment that you have that could come from theft or loss. So if you had a fire or if you had wind damage, somebody came in and stole. They came in, vandalized your office. So that would cover that cost and replacement of that equipment. So those are kind of the three buckets that a business owner's policy would provide offsetting the risk.
Are there businesses out there that don't have it?
Sure. I mean, there are, depending upon where you live in the country, there are some brokers that don't have any insurance, and they decide to self-insure. You've had our CEO, President Tom Carpentier, on the show as a guest many times, and Tom explains insurance pretty simple terms. Your decision of how much risk you want to place on the insurance company versus how much risk you want to take on yourself. So there are brokers that I've had conversations with that have decided, for whatever reason, that they don't want to have any coverage, that they can handle whatever risk they might run into. And take a look at where you think the greatest opportunity to be vulnerable is. So if you're starting off as a real estate broker and either you don't have an office or you're working from home, or you have a small office where you don't entertain clients, you might not need business owner's policy. You might not need to protect commercial if the equipment that you have in place is a printer and a video screen. You probably replace those yourself.
Yeah, we could. Yeah.
Where you would still need some coverage, though, would be on the cyber side, with people, with the risk of those cyber criminals infiltrating your email or the email of folks that you're working with to cause the theft of data or funds. Or you would need the professional liability, the errors and omissions, the malpractice, if you will, insurance. So if someone feels that your professional services have done them wrong, you've got defense coverage for there. Again, it goes back to, if that were to happen, could I offset that cost myself? And if I can't, is it a better investment for me to have an annual premium that I pay with the insurance company than offsetting any of the cost outside of the deductible?
And I want to take this time, as people do reach out to you to tailor their insurance plans, whatever they may need, to ask the right questions for you, to ask the questions that they don't know to ask, that as people hear this, certainly right here on AM 950 KPRC in the fourth largest city, Houston, Texas, many people hear us after the fact all over the United States. And if there's a broker in New York City, Washington State, anywhere else, you're there to help them as well.
Absolutely. I'm working with I just helped a small brokerage firm in Missouri on their errors and omissions, and I'm working with a real estate professional in Florida on a cyber liability policy right now. So, yes, we can work with our broker partners from around the country. They can reach us, 866-798-2827. They can send us an email at stewartinsurance@stewart.com. or they can learn more at stewartinsurance.com. So we can, we're here to help our real estate broker partners. We're here to help the title and attorney agents. And then we're here to help the homeowners. So with their home insurance, their flood insurance, their auto insurance, wind insurance, motorcycle, SUV, we're here to help.
Watercraft. Sounds like you said 866-798-2827.
I believe I did, Bill. I think it was 866-798-2827.
It sure is. You have a fantastic team at Stewart Insurance, Tom Carpentier, and so many others there helping people, doing tremendous work every day. Stewart Insurance, 866-798-2827. Real Estate Matters for Stewart Title. Yes, another edition. Thank you for listening. Bill Napick, I am your host. Stay safe out there. Thank you again. Go to Stewart.com if you want to hear this show again and again, or any of the other 315 shows. Stewart.com for now.